Hello, it is day one of the My Bloody Valentine Readathon being hosted by Coral at Pretty and Paper Cuts. I'll link her channel down below. So today I am drinking coffee as usual, right? And I'm also putting on, that was kind of loud, sorry about that. I'm also putting on my makeup so I can get ready to go to a Valentine's Day brunch with my best friend. So in this video, I'm going to be starting off reading the Jordan Peele edited collection Out There Screaming for the prompt to read a book by a Black author. This is one I've had on my list for a long time, so I'm really excited to be getting into that. The other books that I'll be reading for this one, let me see if I can remember them off the top of my head. I should have had my prompts right in front of me. One of the books is to read a word or read a book with a positive word in the title. And I'm using Paradise Lost by John Milton, using the word paradise as my positive word. It is a reread for me, but I want to read that before I reread Frankenstein. I'm participating in a book club this month, and we'll be talking about Frankenstein. But in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, the creature reads Paradise Lost. So I wanted to reread that myself too and kind of look for the ways that both of those works may share themes, symbolism, stuff like that. So that's, let's see, two of the books. What else am I reading? You'll find out, right? I will come back on the next check-in with the prompts and with the other specific books. But as for now, I'm going to finish my makeup, get ready to go meet my friend for brunch, and I'll take you along with me. And I'm really excited to get into this vlog. I will see you again soon. Bye. Hello, I am checking back in, unfortunately, not at brunch with my friend. Without going into too many details, I've been having some stomach issues lately, and those issues prevented me from getting out the door, even though I tried 3 times. But we won't talk much about that. I'm trying to shift my mentality and trying to appreciate having a day at home to just read. And you will hear my daughter in the background. I will flip the camera around so you can see my daughter. Hey, can you say, yeah, can you say happy Sunday? Ha ha. So yeah, I'm totally bummed, of course, about not being able to go to Valentine's brunch with my friend, but it's really hard to stay down when my daughter's so happy, and it's just contagious the way that she presents her smile and her laugh. Is it funny, baby? So I'm just going to go ahead and get started with Out There Screaming. So let me grab it up. And I said in the previous clip that I would come back and talk about the other books that I'm reading for the different prompts, but I don't have those beside me right now. My morning's just been a little thrown off, but I'm excited to get into Out There Screaming, and I will check back in with you after I've read a few of these stories. Bye. Hello, so I'm checking back in, still in my comfy chair. I wanted to come back and check in because I've gotten 3 stories into Out There Screaming. And just to give you a quick overview of the ratings so far, and then I'll talk a little bit more about the introduction by Jordan Peele and a little bit more about each of the stories I've read so far. So the first story is titled Reckless Eyeballs. I gave that one a 3. The second story is Eye and Tooth, and I gave that one a 5. And the third story is Wandering Devil, which I rated 3. So in the introduction by Jordan Peele, he talks about where he got the idea for the sunken place. And if you've seen Get Out, you know what the sunken place is. And I just really found this completely eye-opening and just so interesting where the idea came from. So Jordan Peele says that he was morbidly obsessed with this notion of the oubliette, which I did not know what that was. So I was about to look it up, but he does explain it in the introduction in kind of a funny way. He says, for those who don't spend their nights reading about medieval torture practices. But an oubliette was a dungeon that was shaped like a bottle, and it only had this small opening at the top that barely let in any light, with the thought that the prisoner who was down there in that place would be isolated and alone, but would still be able to hear what was going on above them and even smell like the foods that were being cooked and stuff like that. So the concept was that they would be down in that place and they could observe what was going on above them to some degree, but they could not really participate in that. And this word, oubliette, this name for this type of dungeon, comes from the French word oublier, which means to forget. So I just thought that gave a lot of extra context to what happens in the movie Get Out. And so I kind of was going into this collection with the idea, because he talks about how each of the authors in this collection was writing in their own form of what their oubliette might be. So the first story, Reckless Eyeballing, is written by N.K. Jemisin, and it follows a police officer who he's able to tell who he needs to pull over through the way that their headlights look. But what you find out over the course of the story is those headlights on the vehicles that he pulls over really reflect more about his character than they do those who are driving the cars. The next story, Eye and Tooth, is written by Rebecca Rowanhorse, and it deals with these siblings who have a gift of sight and the gift of teeth, and they go to an isolated kind of farmhouse to help this woman who is being plagued by something supernatural. And that's all I really want to say about that one, because it has a really cool twist. And like I said, I gave that one 5 stars, so I don't want to give anything away there. And the third story is Wandering Devil, and that's written by Cadwell Turnbull. I had to check that name because he was an author that I was not familiar with. But this one follows a main character who has a penchant for just up and leaving places, not wanting to put down roots or any kind of attachment. And that may not have ended up well for him. And that's all I really want to say, because these stories are so short. I don't want to give any spoilers, and I will check back in later after I read a few more. For the rest of today, I'm going to try to take it easy. As I mentioned, I'm dealing with some health things going on, but I am enjoying the collection so far. Hey, so the Super Bowl just kicked off, and so we're watching that tonight. You'll hear my husband and my daughter in the background. I am mostly excited about seeing Usher at the halftime show. So that's really all I have to say right now. So cheers, and I will see you again soon. Bye. Hello, it is day 2 of the My Bloody Valentine Readathon. Today is Monday. So far I've gotten up and put on some makeup and had breakfast and coffee. This week is going to look a little bit different because we live in an area that celebrates Mardi Gras, and my daughter is out of school for the entire week, even though Fat Tuesday is tomorrow, and then Mardi Gras will be over. For some reason, the school system that she is in thinks that a whole week is necessary. So she's going to be home this week. So that's going to change up my schedule quite a bit. I will not be teaching any live online classes since my daughter will be home, but I have uploaded already this morning some work that my students will do, and then we will chat about it on what's called the classroom page. So that's really the only teaching I'll be doing this week will be in that kind of format. So I did not check in last night, but you saw from, excuse me, from the footage that I read a lot yesterday, watched the Super Bowl last night, enjoyed the halftime show with Usher, and today my plans, I'm going to keep it as simple as possible. One of the things that I really need to do is to get some house cleaning done. The other thing I want to do is to plan a little bit for March content. And then I want to read. So today I'm going to be continuing in Out There Screaming, which is edited by Jordan Peele. Since I checked in last time, I did get one more story read, and that one is called Invasion of the Baby Snatchers. And that one is written by Leslie Naka Arama. And I gave this one 4 stars. It had a lot of commentary on some contemporary real life issues. For example, one of the premises in this story is that you can be paid if you report someone who you believe is harboring or who is an alien. And this is talking about other planet type aliens, but I think you get what I'm saying here. And I feel like there was also some commentary on women's reproductive rights too, but I did enjoy this one and gave it a 4. It probably would have been a 5, but I felt like the ending was a little bit too abrupt, and I would have liked to have gotten a little more from the end, but I did obviously enjoy it and gave it a 4. I also was reading some of Nettle and Bone by Kingfisher on my Kindle, and I should be able to finish that today. I'm going to be counting that for the prompt for the My Bloody Valentine Readathon. The prompt that is to read a book with a body part in the title. Now, initially, when I put together my February TBR, I was going to use Beard from Bluebeard's Castle as my prompt for a mention of a body part. But as you can tell, I already read this book. I actually went ahead and started it at the beginning of the month because I am participating in a book club to discuss this book. I'm not going to go into it here, but I will say that I gave this book 1 star, and all of these pink tabs are places where I was like, are you kidding me? Really? I have a lot to say about that one, but I'm going to save that for later. Um, so the other book that I am reading is an audiobook, and that is Parasocial by Wendy Dalrymple. So I started listening to that a little bit last night. And while I'm doing my house cleaning, I'm going to keep listening to that today. And Parasocial fits the My Bloody Valentine prompt to read a book or read a novella. So that's where I'm putting that book as far as prompts go. Um, the only other thing I have to say is I mentioned in my last check-in that I did not get to go to brunch with my friend because I'm dealing with some health issues. That's just my cat pushing on the door. There's not a ghost here. You can probably see him coming in. Hello, Prayer. But anyway, I'm going to have to call the doctor today to schedule an appointment to see what's going on. I won't get into it again very much, but I am having some stomach issues. And this is on top of what I've already talked about. If you watch some of my previous videos, I am menopausal now. So I'm having appointments with my OBGYN already to kind of get some things going in that direction. So on top of that, now I'm having some stomach issues. So it's just, there's a lot on my plate right now. And, you know, I'm just trying to keep on doing the things that I can do and the things that will bring me joy, such as reading books and coming on here and talking about books. So that's all for right now. I'm going to go ahead and go so I can get an early start on cleaning and maybe get a little bit done before my daughter wakes up. So I will check back in with you later. Bye. Hello. So it is around 12:15ish on Monday afternoon. I'm checking back in. I have done some house cleaning, done some laundry. I may or may not get to more house cleaning today. We'll see. I'm still waiting to get a call back from the doctor about getting an appointment to see what's going on with my stomach issues. You'll hear my daughter in the background. She just finished lunch a little while ago. But I did finish Parasocial while I was doing my cleaning. It was a very short novella, maybe somewhere between 3 and 4 hours listening to it. And like I said, I started it last night, so I got some of it read then, and then the rest today. I ended up giving it a 4, and it has commentary on social media presence and do we really know who people are on social media? How much is real? How much is pretend? How extreme can that get? And then it also talks about letting social media take over your life if you are obsessed with following different people. So it was interesting. Like I said, I gave it a 4. I probably would have given it a 5 if there wasn't this kind of, I don't want to give away a spoiler, but like a kind of supernatural element that I felt like was unnecessary. So again, I did enjoy that, and I will check back in later. Bye. Hello, it is day 3 of the My Bloody Valentine Readathon. It's Tuesday afternoon around, I think, 2 o'clock-ish. I apologize if the lighting or the angle are weird. I am in my dining room. I thought I would check in because I got some happy mail today. You'll hear my daughter in the background because, again, like I mentioned, she's home all week for Mardi Gras. Her school gets out an entire week, and happy Fat Tuesday, by the way. Today is Fat Tuesday. So I'm going to go ahead and unbox here. And you'll hear, like I said, you'll hear my daughter in the background talking. So, update on my health. I did get an appointment with a GI doctor, so hopefully I'll be getting things figured out soon. I hesitate to get too optimistic, but I do feel, as you can probably tell in this video, I do feel a little bit better today. And of course, a happy mail day always helps. So this is from Bath and Body Works. Because I'm a member, I got their member deal of strawberry pound cake. This is a fine fragrance mist. And I got a strawberry pound cake candle too. So let's get that out and smell it. We got some good mail, didn't we? We got some good mail. Yeah. Oh, that smells so good. Ah, that smells so good. And I also got some more hand soaps because they were on sale too. So I got this one, which is Love You Bubbly Rosé. I thought this was perfect for like Valentine's Day tomorrow, so I'm glad it came on time. The other scent I got is Raspberry Tangerine. And I got I got 3 more. I don't even remember what I ordered. I'm sure none of you can identify with that. White Cucumber and Mint. And Vanilla Coconut. And last, what's this one? Oh, another Raspberry Tangerine. So, yay, at least we'll be smelling nice. Let me grab another sip of coffee. And let's unbox something else. I know what's in here. Highly anticipated books. Let me get this. You know what? I'm just gonna take my little box cutter and get into it. I'm not even going to cut that out. You know what? That is the falling of the ring light. And I cannot even blame that on my cat because he's over there in the corner. So that was just purely on me. This is harder than it looks. Is it funny? Now my daughter's going to laugh. Oh no. This is me just being for real right here. Get this set back up. I may have to end up cutting this or it's going to spend the whole video you watching me trying to get my ring light set back up. And it's me some difficulty. Okay, I'm probably crooked, but you know what? We're gonna let it go. It's gonna drive me a little bit crazy though. This is probably a mistake. Okay, again, really sorry about this angle because it's probably really wonky now. If I can do this carefully so that I don't cut myself on top of all the other drama that's going on. Yes, What Feast at Night, the second in the Sworn Soldier series. This is the one that comes after Kingfisher's What Moves the Dead. Look at the cover. I'm so excited. And so that's an unboxing. I'll go ahead now, if I can maybe fix this a little bit, and talk about what else I've been reading since last time I checked in with you. I was listening to Kingfisher's Nettle and Bone. No, I wasn't listening to it. I was reading that on my Kindle, sorry. And I did finish it last night, and I was using it for the prompt in My Bloody Valentine to read a book with a body part in the title. And I was still in a Kingfisher mood after I finished Nettle and Bone, so I started listening to the audiobook of A House with Good Bones by Kingfisher. And I'm really enjoying it. I just really like the way Kingfisher writes with horror mixed with humor. I like her quirky characters. Also, I live in the South, so a lot of the things that she talks about in her novels, I get that. And so I'm really looking forward to getting into What Feast at Night. But because this angle is probably weird and I don't know if my ring light's going to fall down on us again, I'm going to leave now. I'll check back in later and talk about how it's going with Out There Screaming, and also talk a little bit about Paradise Lost. Bye. Hello. So it's still day 3. It's Tuesday of the My Bloody Valentine Readathon. I am checking back in with my cat, Frere. I'm being very casual, just sitting here in the chair, so I apologize if this is not the best quality. I also did not pull the ring light out again after the earlier little fiasco with it. But I wanted to come in and say that I had to run out and pick up some medicine. And when I got back home, I had another package. So let's see what this is. I'm so excited. An Education in Malice by S.T. Gibson. I freaking loved S.T. Gibson's The Dowry of Blood, which was a point of view from the perspective of one of Dracula's wives. The writing was just absolutely stunning in that book. And this one is a dark academia spin on Carmilla. I'm so excited to read that one. I'm going to try to wait till March, but I don't know if I'll be able to or not. Meanwhile, I mentioned earlier that I did finish reading Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher. So I picked up another book with a body part in it by T. Kingfisher that I've been listening to, and that is A House with Good Bones. I do have a physical copy of it too, but I wanted something to listen to while I was doing housework, and so I decided to listen to the audio version of A House with Good Bones. Why do I keep struggling with that? I enjoyed Nettle and Bone. I gave it like, I can't remember. That's terrible. I think it was 4 stars. And it was good, and I did like it, but I'm more interested in T. Kingfisher's horror. I've probably mentioned on here before. I'm not necessarily a fantasy reader very often, but I mean, sometimes it works for me. But I am actually almost finished with A House with Good Bones, and I am freaking loving it so much. It just works for me. And let's see. Also, since I talked about it last time, I've read 3 more stories in Out There Screaming, and unfortunately, I gave one of them 2 stars. And that was one titled The Other One. That one, it just, I don't know. It started off strong, and there was a line that made me laugh so much. It was, the line was, grad school, something like grad school is bad for the brain. I feel that. And I just kind of was a little bit lost on the rest of it. It just, I don't know, it just didn't work for me. The next story I read after that was La Siren. And I may be saying that wrong. I'm not sure. And I ended up giving that one 3 stars. And the last one I read was The Rider by Tananarive Due. No surprise. No surprise at all. I gave that one 5 stars. I forgot to mention who the other 2 writers were. The writer of, let me look right here, of the other one is Violet Allen. And the writer of La Siren was Aaron E. Adams. And I still want to read Aaron E. Adams' book, Jackal. That's a book that I do also need to check out. So I just started the next story after The Rider. And that is the Aesthete by Justin C. Key. And it's a little bit weird. So I'm still trying to kind of process through it. It's a longer short story than the other ones I've read so far. But I'll come back and check in. It may be tomorrow morning. I'm not sure. I'm still, dealing with the health issues. It had gotten a little better earlier today, but I'm starting to not feel as well tonight. So we'll see. Anyway, I will check in with you tomorrow. Good night, everyone. Hey, so I'm checking in from my chair again. It is Wednesday, February 14th. I think it's about 10 o'clock in the morning. Valentine's Day and day 4 of the My Bloody Valentine Readathon. I'm extremely tired today. I ended up having a really rough night, health-wise last night. But the fortunate thing is I called my GI doctor's office and I was able to get an appointment tomorrow morning. So that's good. That way I can get on in there and we can start figuring out what's going on. Last night I watched My Bloody Valentine, the original from like 1981. Cheesy, good time. There's really not much to say about that movie. I have not watched the remake. I think the remake came out in like 2019. I have not watched that one. Today I hope to get a little bit of reading done, but honestly, I feel like I'm going to be doing more watching stuff. There's a fun course done by Sarah and Brittany at Carter Hall about fairy tale themed weddings and fairy tale folklore around Valentine's Day, that kind of thing. So I'm probably gonna watch a little bit of that. I did get some chocolate covered strawberries from my sweet husband last night. I think I only ate one. I might have eaten part of the second one, but unfortunately, I just wasn't quite feeling up to my usual appetite. But that's about all I have for right now, and I will check in again later. Bye.
Hi everybody, and welcome to Happily Ever After, Valentine's Day lore, fairy tales, and fairy tale weddings. I am Dr. Brittany Mormon. I'm Dr. Sarah Cleta.
Hello, it is Thursday afternoon around 3:45. It is day 5 of the My Bloody Valentine Readathon. I did not get a chance to check in any earlier today because I did have a doctor's appointment. So I went to see the GI doctor to try to figure out what's going on with all these stomach issues that I'm experiencing. So he did some blood work and then he put me on a prescription to help. And I'll follow it with him in a couple of weeks and then also have a colonoscopy done. I see my OB/GYN next week, and I'm going to tell him that I really would just like to stop my hormone replacement therapy because I may have mentioned, I can't remember, but I think I mentioned in the video before this vlog that the issues that I'm having with my stomach did not start until the end of January, a couple of days after I started hormone replacement therapy. So I don't know if the two are connected or if it's just a coincidence. Of course, once my blood work and my colonoscopy are done, that'll also give us some more answers in, that realm. But I can't help but think because this all started, a little while after I started HRT, and this was the first that I'd had any issues like this. So I don't know. I just can't help but think the two are connected. I'm going to move past that now, though, and talk about other stuff that I've been up to. And also you'll probably hear my daughter in the background. I've mentioned before on this vlog that she's out of school every day this week for Mardi Gras. But since I checked in last time, I finished House with Good Bones by Kingfisher. Now, as you can see, I do have a physical copy, but I ended up listening to it on audiobook. I gave it 5 stars. I love the way that Kingfisher mixes horror with humor. I mentioned before. So in A House with Good Bones, we're following the main character, Sam, who ends up having to go back home and stay with her mom for a while. So Sam has a really interesting job. She is an entomologist, but like an archaeological entomologist. So it's really cool the way that she kind of looks at bugs and digs stuff up. I'm probably not explaining it that well, but anyway, it's just a really cool job, and she is smart and she's funny. I really enjoyed her character. But anyway, she ends up going to live with her mom again for a little while. And the house that her mom lives in is the one that used to belong to the main character's grandmother, her mother's mother. And her grandmother was a terrible, terrible person. She just did a lot of shaming of the main character, like fat shaming. Apparently, the grandmother was also racist. So her mother, the main character's mother, is nothing like that. But when she goes back home, she notices that her mother is different. Her mother has dropped a lot of weight, and she used to be a heavier set person like our main character is. She also notices that this old Confederate picture that her grandmother had hanging up, that once her grandmother died, her mother took down immediately. Her mother's hung that back up, and her mother is acting like she's almost like afraid of, or not almost, she's acting afraid of something. She notices other things, the main character, like the way that her grandmother had everything painted beige, ecru, that kind of dull color. Whenever her grandmother died, her mother painted it, the house in bold colors to really represent who she was. But now everything is painted back like beige and ecru again. So there's obviously something strange going on. And so throughout the course of the book, the narrator is looking for answers. And when they start to unfold, she realizes that her grandmother was into some strange stuff that has kind of been passed down to them. They're having to kind of deal with the past, right? Kind of the generational issues that were passed down to them. I'm probably not explaining it too well. Again, I am tired and dealing with this health stuff. It's just kind of drained me, but I wanted to check in and just tell you what I've been up to. The vlog hasn't gone exactly the way I wanted it to, but that's life. So the rest of today, I'll probably just read a little bit more in Out There Screaming. I've also read a few more stories since the last time I checked in with you in Out There Screaming. I had a couple that were, I think, like a 2.5 star, a 3.5, maybe a 4 since I checked in last time. Again, I apologize. This check-in is not the best, but hopefully I'll be able to check in tomorrow and be a little more coherent. So I will see you next check-in. Bye. Hello, it is Friday morning, about 10:30, day 6 of the My Bloody Valentine Readathon. Last time I checked in, I was talking about how I'd gone to the GI doctor and he gave me a prescription. You can probably tell by my demeanor and the way that I look that I started the prescription last night, and thankfully I'm already feeling better. I can tell a difference. And so I hope that this prescription is just going to continue to be the answer for me. Additionally, as I mentioned last time I checked in too, I'm also going to talk to my OBGYN and say, hey, you know what? I think I would just like to discontinue HRT. But let's move on to happier topics. Since I checked in last time too, I did end up reading a couple of more stories in Out There Screaming. Unfortunately, one of them, I ended up having to DNF. I got like 3 pages in and I just wasn't feeling it at all. Also, I really just didn't even understand what was going on. And sometimes that's fine. I like to read weird stuff and I don't always like to know what's going on. But if I'm not feeling compelled by anything in the story at the same time, I just couldn't do it. I may go back sometime and try to see if I can do it, but I didn't want to get in a reading slump, and I really wanted to, do something that was going to be productive and good for my health. So I am glad that I did because the next story that I read, The Norwood Trouble, let me see who that's written by because I did end up giving that one 5 stars. And The Norwood Trouble is written by, let me get that because, like I said, I want to give a definite shout out. Maurice Broaddus, and I did like that one a lot. So my plans for today. My husband is typically off on Friday, so that's good. He's got my daughter now. She had a doctor's appointment this morning, and he told me, "Look, stay at home, rest, get caught up." And so he took her, to the doctor, and said I didn't need to go and help. He had it. And so I'm going to do some reading today. I've already done a little bit of catching up on classes that I teach. I had to upload some work for students and then respond back to them and give them feedback on their answers, stuff like that. I need to check in with the grad student that I mentor and see how her thesis is going. It's due at the end of this week. So I want to make sure that I am checking in with her and giving her any feedback she needs because I've been kind of out of the loop this past week. Um, I'm listening to the Rust Maidens on audio, and I know I'm going to be listening to that some more today because I'm going to make some oatmeal cookies because I feel like giving myself a little treat because I'm feeling better. And oatmeal cookies will be good for my condition because they're good a source of fiber. So that's my reasoning anyway. So that's all I have for right now. I will see you on the next check-in, and I hope that you have a wonderful, I was going to say have a wonderful Friday, but by the time you see this, it's not going to be Friday. So I hope you had a wonderful Friday. Talk to you next time. Bye. Hey, it is Saturday around 11:30, the last day of the My Bloody Valentine Readathon. I am feeling really well today. Fingers crossed it stays that way. I mentioned previously that my GI doctor did put me on a prescription to help with these stomach issues, and that seems to have done the trick. So hopefully, I'm like completely on the mend now, and all of that can be resolved. So since I checked in last time, I read a few more stories in Out There Screaming. One of them I gave a 3 star, one I gave a 4 star, and then I gave a 5 star to the last one I read, Your Happy Place. So I only have a couple of more stories to read in Out There Screaming, and that's my plan. Today is to finish reading Out There Screaming. I also need to finish reading Paradise Lost for the positive word in a title prompt for this readathon. So hopefully I'm going to get done with that one today. Also, I forgot because I wasn't feeling well on Valentine's Day at all, but I forgot to show you what my sweet Valentine, my husband, got me for Valentine's Day. He got me this really pretty, sweet card, and he also got me these flowers. So I appreciated them greatly. They definitely cheered me up on Valentine's Day, even though I wasn't feeling well. Also, since I checked in last time, last night, I watched, rewatched, because I've seen both of these movies already, especially the first one, like multiple times. But my husband and I watched Hellraiser, the original 1987 Hellraiser, and then Hellraiser 2, Hellbound. And I watched those because, in addition to participating in the My Bloody Valentine Readathon, I'm also participating in Folklore February, which is hosted by Kat at Kat's Novel Adventures. So I'll link her channel down below. I'm also going to be linking, of course, Coral at Pretty and Paper Cuts, who does the My Bloody Valentine Readathon. But the reason, getting back to Hellraiser, the original and then the sequel, the reason that I watched those last night, believe it or not, was for Folklore February, because I started thinking about in terms of fairy tales and movies, and I found this really cool article that talked about Hellraiser as a gothic fairy tale. So I really kind of fell into that black hole of research. And I also listened to a podcast where they were talking about fairy tale elements in Hellraiser. So I was able to use Hellraiser as a prompt in Folklore February to watch a movie based on a fairy tale or home folklore. So I'm definitely, like I said, going to link that article down below because I thought it was a really cool take on Hellraiser. And of course, Hellraiser, the movie is based on the original story by Clive Barker. And Clive Barker also directed Hellraiser. So that is all for my check in now. I'm going today to do some editing, do some reading. Kat is actually going to be sprinting on her channel today for Folklore February. So I'm going to be participating in that. That'll help me get my work done today too, because I can do some work, get on and chat for a little while, do some more work, get on and chat. So it's very motivating, and it helps kind of break up the monotony of having to do so much editing and stuff like that. I will check in again tonight to close out the vlog. But I'm going to go now and make myself get to some editing. Bye. Hey, so it is Saturday night around 8 o'clock p.m. I just got out of the shower, and this is the last night of the My Bloody Valentine Readathon. Even though I was sick for most of this past week, I still had a really good time with this readathon, and I feel like it actually helped me to be doing this readathon because it got my mind on some other things and helped me cope with the stuff I was dealing with. And I want to talk a little bit more about Out There Screaming. I did finish reading it. I ended up rating like 4 of the stories 5 stars. My favorites were, of course, The Rider by Tananarive Due. My other 5-star stories were Eye and Tooth, The Norwood Trouble, and Your Happy Place. So I had anywhere from 2 all the way up to 5 stars in the ratings for these stories. So I just averaged out my ratings and got an overall rating of 3 stars for Out There Screaming. I know also I have not really talked a lot about Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher, which is the book I used for the prompt to read a book with a body part in the title. I used that, as I mentioned previously, to replace Bluebeard's Castle. I talked more about the second bonus kind of book that I used for that prompt, which was T. Kingfisher's A House with Good Bones. But I do want to just give a quick little summary of Nettle and Bone. So it's a fantasy story, and we're following our main character who goes on this quest to save her sister from this evil prince. Well, he's actually become a king by the time that the story gets near the end. But her sister's married to this terribly abusive king, and she goes on a quest, as I said, to save her sister. And she has some really interesting and unlikely companions on this quest, including a dust witch, a fairy godmother, this big kind of burly man, and a chicken that's possessed. But I had a lot of fun with that one, even though I was feeling the absolute worst that I felt the whole time during this past week while I read that. But I do want to give a shout out to a few of the quotes from this book that I really, liked. The opening had me pulled in. The opening sentence in Nettle and Bone is, "The trees were full of crows and the woods were full of madmen." And there were a couple of other things that I thought really in this book that was kind of humorous in some parts. T. Kingfisher has a way of taking humor, but putting real life horror into it. Fictional horror, yes, but sometimes real life horror. And just short sentences that really drive a point home. And one example is this sentence from Nettle and Bone, this statement: "The history of the world was written in women's wombs and women's blood, and she would never be allowed to change it." So that was the thought that the main character had as she was trying to go on this quest to save her sister. And she just really began to look at the way society was, and she felt hopeless. But there was hope. And if you'd like to know more, then I suggest you pick up Nettle and Bone. I know I said I was going to talk about Paradise Lost. I did finish it today. This was the book I used for the prompt to read a book with a positive word in the title. I used paradise as my positive word. This was a reread for me. I'm decided I'm not going to talk about Paradise Lost in this vlog because I'm reading it to pair it with Frankenstein. And so I'm going to wait and talk about Paradise Lost in another video where I'm also talking about Frankenstein. So I thank you all for following along with me this week. I know there was a mix of a lot of health discussion in here, but this is my channel and this is my life. So it's going to be out there, right? But I just want to thank you for watching, and I want to thank Coral at Pretty and Paper Cuts for hosting and creating the My Bloody Valentine Readathon. And I will definitely be participating in it next year. So I hope that you enjoyed this, and I hope you'll like this video. Let me know down in the comments what you read, if you participated in My Bloody Valentine Readathon, or what you've been reading, even if you didn't participate. Be sure that you subscribe and hit that bell so you won't miss a video from me. I hope you have a lovely day or night whenever you may be watching this. And I will see you next time. Bye.